Can thinking about the past help you in your depression recovery? Stay tuned and find out. Hello, my name is Douglas Bloch. I'm an author, mental health educator, and depression survivor. Welcome to your Depression Recovery channel, where each week we talk about practical tools and coping strategies for healing from depression and anxiety. The title of today's video is, Can Thinking About the Past Help You Feel Better in the Present? Before we go on to it, of course, we have our introductory humor. And this joke comes to me through Joel Osteen, big church out of Houston, Texas. And sometimes he tells pretty decent jokes. So here it is. It's about a marriage. Two people are engaged. And the day before the wedding, the groom goes up to the minister and says, you know, I don't really like this love, honor, and obey stuff. Can you just take that out of the, the vows? If you do so, I'll give you $100. That moment, he slips the minister $100. Minister nods his head, and the groom walks away smiling. The next day is the wedding. The vows are coming up, and the minister turns to the groom and says, do you promise to bow down to your wife, bring her breakfast in bed, and do everything that she desires? The groom gulps and says, I do. And then he whispers in the minister's ear, hey, I thought we had a deal. The minister then hands back the $100 and said, we did, but your wife made me a better offer. Anyway, there's no laughter here because nobody's sitting here except the two videographers, but my group liked it. All right, so let's go back to our title about feeling better in the present because of thinking about the past. Well, this seems kind of nutty because how many times have we talked about rumination and depression? When depressives ruminate, they think about the past, the mistakes they've made, things that have gone wrong, and they just, rehash it over and over again. So you would think that thinking about the past is counterproductive, but there is one case in which it's not, and that's when you consciously bring a positive memory from the past into the present to help diminish depression and anxiety. For example, the other day I was at the hospital getting ready to receive an intravenous infusion of antibiotics for a recurrent case of cellulitis. Sat down, nurse said, okay, we're going to start. And she took out a large needle to start the, put a line in for the IV. Now, I've always been afraid of needles, horrified of needles. So as soon as I saw her take up that needle, I tensed up. And seeing that I was really tense, she said, it's okay, Douglas, it's going to be okay. Just go to that happy place. As the nurse said those words, my mind suddenly drifted to the memory of a warm, sunny day 2 years ago when my best friend Stuart and I spent a lovely afternoon at Cannon Beach on the Oregon coast. I felt the warmth of the sun on my face. I saw and heard the crashing of the waves and the songs of the seagulls. I smelled the salt air. I picked up a handful of grains of sand. In my hands, I just felt them sifting through my fingers. I could taste that chocolate truffle that was melting in my mouth.
Douglas, come back to reality.
I was somewhere else. Oh yeah, well, okay, so as you can see, having a vivid memory about the past literally brings you into a different state of consciousness. And that's because the mind cannot tell the difference between something that's real and something that's imagined. That's why Olympic athletes practice something called visual rehearsal. For example, the pole vaulter pictures himself running down the path and vaulting over the bar, and he does this enough times, it actually enhances his performance. That's why many people who shoot foul shots, basketball players, will go like this. They'll close their eyes, they'll imagine themselves shooting the ball and seeing it go swish. Again, they do that enough times and their shooting improves. Now, this visual rehearsal idea is not just for Olympic athletes, it's for you and me. You can take advantage of this phenomenon by creating something that I call a library of positive memories. So what you do is you just take a moment and think about some sort of time in the past where you were happy, vibrant, calm, and peaceful. Where were you? What were you doing? Perhaps you were taking a walk in nature, on a wonderful vacation, accomplishing something you have worked for, or you were falling in love, or spending time with your children, or attending a wedding, climbing on top of a mountain, eating a good meal, etc. something will come up for you. If any happy memory came up for you, you might want to take a moment, just pause the video, and then write it down in as much detail as you can. Try to use all 5 senses: sight, hearing, touch, taste, and smell. After you have written your experience down, take some time to relive it as many times as you can, because it will more easily allow you to bring it up to memory. And you can do something else. As you're, again, reliving the experience, take your hand and make a gesture like this. Touch your finger to your nose or another part of the body. Then in the future, when you're in a painful place, make that same gesture, and it will allow you to more easily bring up the experience into consciousness. As you practice this, think of it as a positive escape, as a way to stimulate your brain to bring up the chemicals that are associated with pleasure and joy. For those of you who were around in the 1960s, remember what the Moody Blues said? I think it's apropos here.
Speeding through the universe, thinking is the best way to travel.
This has been Douglas Bloch. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed the Moody Blues. If you like the video, please give it a like. You can also write your comments in the comments section or email me, douglasbloch@gmail.com. If you'd like to subscribe to this channel, when the credits come up, click on my photo. You'll be taken to the subscribe page. If you'd like to learn about my mental health coaching service, you can copy down the link that appears on the screen, and I'll get back to you. And if you'd like to be a sustaining member of this channel, just click on the Patreon picture that you see. And until we meet again, I wish you the best in your mental health recovery. Thank you so much for tuning in.